The town was alive with music. The drums beat loudly, and the voices of women rose in songs of celebration. Joy, a young bride with a soft smile and bright eyes, walked gracefully into her new home. She was nervous, but happiness radiated from her heart. Beside her was David, her husband, tall, handsome, and respected in the community. He held her hand gently, his face glowing with pride. It was their wedding day, the day Joy had long prayed for. She whispered to herself, "This is the beginning of forever." The first weeks of marriage were filled with laughter. Joy woke early each morning, tied her orange wrapper, and cooked for David. She hummed softly as she stirred the pot, her heart filled with love. David often sneaked into the kitchen just to taste her food, making her laugh until her sides hurt. In the evenings, they prayed together, holding hands, whispering dreams of the children they would one day raise. But months passed. And then a year. The compound was still quiet. No sound of a baby crying. No tiny feet running around. The neighbors began to whisper. "Why has Joy not conceived? Is something wrong with her?" Joy forced a smile when she walked past them, but every word pierced her soul. David noticed his wife's fading smile. One night, after Joy had fallen asleep, he sat outside under the moon, whispering a prayer. "Lord, give my wife peace. Give us strength. Even if children delay, keep our love strong." Her biggest challenge was Mama Grace, David's mother. Mama Grace was a strong woman, always dressed in bold red wrappers and heavy beads. She loved her son dearly, but she wanted grandchildren more than anything. One morning, she visited Joy. Adjusting her red head tie, she said sharply, "Joy, a woman's pride is in her children. How long do you want me to wait? My friends laugh at me. They say my son married a barren woman." Joy knelt respectfully, tears in her eyes. "Mama, I am praying. God will answer us." But Mama Grace shook her head. "Prayers without results are useless. Open your womb before it's too late." That afternoon, Joy went to fetch water at the village stream. She tried to smile at the women around, but she could hear their laughter and whispers. She carried the heavy pot on her head, tears hidden behind her forced smile. Each month, Joy waited anxiously. But each month ended in tears. Alone in her room, she cried into her pillow. David always tried to comfort her. "Joy," he whispered, "don't cry. You are more than enough for me. God's time is the best." His words gave her strength, but late at night, her heart trembled with fear. What if Mama Grace convinced him to take another wife? One evening, Mama Grace stormed into the house. She wore a purple wrapper with silver embroidery and her face was full of anger. "David," she shouted. "Enough of this shame. You must take another wife. Joy has failed you. A man like you cannot remain without children." Joy froze, her body trembling. This was her greatest fear, spoken aloud. But David stood tall. His voice was calm but firm. "Mama, stop. Joy is my wife, and I love her. I will never abandon her. Children are a gift from God. If He wills, they will come. But I will never betray my vows." The next day, Mama Grace sat with her friends under a mango tree, fanning herself angrily. She complained loudly about Joy, while the women shook their heads in mock pity. Joy passed by, carrying firewood. Their laughter burned her soul. That night, Joy wore her white prayer gown and knelt by her bed. She raised her hands, tears streaming down her face. "Lord," she whispered, "I will wait for you. Even if the world mocks me, I will not give up my faith. Give me strength, Lord. Give me strength." Through the window, a ray of moonlight shone directly on her face, as though God Himself was listening. Later that night, David came into the room and found Joy still praying. He knelt beside her, held her hand, and said, "No matter what happens, I will stand with you. You are my joy, And you will always be enough. Joy wept on his shoulder, comforted by his love. Joy's journey had just begun. The trials ahead would be even harder, but she knew one thing for certain: she was not alone. With David's love beside her and her faith in God, she would endure every storm. Weeks turned into months, and Joy's smile grew weaker. She still cooked, still swept the compound, still greeted everyone with respect. But in her heart, sorrow was planting roots. She often sat by the doorway, gazing at children running across the village square. Their laughter was like knives cutting deep into her chest. Mama Grace grew restless. Her bold voice echoed across the compound every morning. "David, are you blind? Can't you see that Joy is useless? You are my only son. I need grandchildren before I die." Joy's heart pounded each time Mama Grace's voice rose. But David always defended his wife. "Mama," he said one morning, his voice steady, "leave Joy alone. She is my wife, and I will not let you disgrace her. God's time is different from ours." Mama Grace hissed, throwing her wrapper over her shoulder. "You are bewitched by her beauty. One day, you will regret it." Joy tried to keep busy. She went to the market, carrying her basket. But even there, the whispers followed. "She is barren," someone muttered. "Why hasn't David married another wife?" another replied. Joy lowered her head, pretending not to hear. That evening, Joy returned home with swollen eyes. She hid inside the kitchen, pretending to sort vegetables, but her tears fell freely. David found her there and wiped her face gently. "Joy, don't hide your pain from me. We are in this together." Unable to bear her frustration, Mama Grace went to the elders. Dressed in her bold purple wrapper, she spoke with authority. "My son must not waste his strength. If Joy cannot give him children, then another woman will." The elders shook their heads, concerned but silent. That night, Joy lay awake, staring at the ceiling. She could hear Mama Grace's angry voice echoing in her ears. She whispered, "Lord, don't let my home be destroyed. Don't let my husband's love fade away." The next morning, David brought Joy flowers he picked by the riverside. He placed them in her hands and said, "As long as I breathe, you will never face this battle alone." Joy's eyes softened. For a moment, her heart felt light again. But Mama Grace grew bolder. One afternoon, before neighbors, she shouted at Joy, "You are eating my son's food, wasting his time, and giving me nothing in return. What use are you?" The neighbors watched silently as Joy's eyes filled with shame. Unable to bear the humiliation, Joy ran to the village stream. She sat on a rock, crying into her hands. The sound of rushing water drowned her sobs, but her heart felt like it would break. Her childhood friend, Esther, found her there. Dressed in a yellow gown, Esther wrapped her arms around Joy. "Don't give up, Joy. God sees you. One day, your tears will become laughter." Joy leaned on her shoulder, grateful for a friend's comfort. But Mama Grace was not done. Her anger grew stronger, and her voice louder. Joy's battle was only beginning. By the second year of marriage, the whispers had turned into open gossip. In the market, at the stream, even during church gatherings, people spoke about Joy as if she was invisible. "She must have offended the gods," one woman muttered. "Or maybe she did something in her youth," another added. Joy felt their eyes on her everywhere she went. Mama Grace's patience finally ran out. She began searching for another wife for David. One evening, she sat with her friends in the compound. "My son is wasting away," she declared, wearing a blue wrapper with heavy beads. "Tomorrow, I will bring him a fertile woman. Enough is enough." Her friends nodded, encouraging her. Unaware that Joy was returning from the backyard, Mama Grace spoke loudly. Joy stopped, frozen. Her knees felt weak. Tears filled her eyes as she realized her worst nightmare was about to come true. That night, Joy sat with David, her hands trembling. "David, Mama wants you to take another wife," she whispered. "Tell me, will you leave me?" David held her face gently. "Joy, look into my eyes. I swore before God and man that you are my only wife. Let Mama plan whatever she wants. My heart belongs to you." The next morning, Mama Grace gathered the family. She stood in the center of the compound in her bold green wrapper and announced, "By this time next month, I will bring a new wife into this house." Joy's heart shattered, but David's voice thundered, "No, Mama. This is my house, and Joy is my wife. I will never accept another woman." The entire compound fell silent. Later that evening, Joy could not hold back anymore. She locked herself in her room, fell to the floor, and wept bitterly. "Lord, why me? Am I cursed? Why should my womb be closed?" Her cries shook the walls. David knocked softly, then entered. He sat beside her, lifted her gently, and whispered, "Joy, don't break yourself. You are the joy of my life. Mama cannot change that." That night, Joy and David knelt together. Dressed in white, they lifted their voices in prayer. "Lord, silence the voice of shame. Let our testimony speak for us." Their voices shook with emotion as they cried unto God. The next day, Esther visited Joy. She wore a bright yellow wrapper and carried fresh fruits. "Joy," she said, holding her friend's hand, "don't let Mama Grace's words destroy you. God has not forgotten you." Her words were like a bomb to Joy's wounded heart. Meanwhile, Mama Grace continued to start trouble. She sat with women at the village square, laughing mockingly. "My son's wife is barren. Imagine the shame. But I will end it soon." The women laughed with her, fueling her anger. That night, Joy rose from bed and looked into the mirror. Her face was tired, her eyes swollen. But deep inside, she whispered, "I will not break. I will not let shame defeat me." She tied a white scarf on her head and prayed silently. One night, Joy had a strange dream. She saw herself holding a baby wrapped in white cloth, smiling as the baby laughed. Beside her stood David, beaming with joy. She woke up, breathless, and whispered, "Lord, was that a sign?" Weeks later, Mama Grace suddenly fell ill. Her bold voice became weak, her steps slow. For the first time, she needed Joy's care. Despite all the insults, Joy cooked for her, fetched water, and even washed her clothes. Mama Grace watched silently, guilt creeping into her heart. One evening, as Joy massaged her legs, Mama Grace whispered, "Why do you care for me, after all I've done to you?" Joy smiled faintly. "Because you are my mother too. Love is stronger than pain." Tears filled Mama Grace's eyes, but she said nothing. One morning, Joy felt weak. Her head spun as she tried to cook. She sat on the floor, holding her stomach. David rushed in. "Joy, what's wrong?" Days later, after visiting the village nurse, David returned with tears of joy. "Joy, you are with child." Her heart leaped. She fell to her knees, shouting, "Thank you, Lord." When Mama Grace heard, she burst into tears. She staggered into Joy's room and fell on her knees. "My daughter, forgive me. I was blind. You are carrying my grandchild. May God bless you." Joy pulled her up gently, both women weeping in each other's arms. The news spread across the village like wildfire. Women all related with Joy, drummers beat loudly, and neighbors danced. "She is pregnant," they shouted. God has answered her prayers. From that day, Mama Grace changed completely. She became Joy's biggest protector, ensuring no one stressed her. "My daughter must rest. She is carrying my golden child," she told everyone. 9 months later, the cries of a newborn filled the house. Joy held her baby boy, her tears flowing freely. David knelt beside her, overwhelmed with joy. Mama Grace danced outside, thanking God. The village gathered for the naming ceremony. Joy wore a radiant golden gown, David a white border with blue embroidery. Mama Grace shone in a purple wrapper with coral beads. The baby was named Samuel, meaning a God has heard. The people cheered, celebrating God's faithfulness. With tears in her eyes, Mama Grace stood before everyone. I once mocked my daughter. I nearly destroyed my son's home. But today, God has shown me mercy. Joy is the true jewel of this family. She placed her hands on Joy's shoulders, blessing her. As the sun set that evening, Joy, David, Mama Grace, and baby Samuel sat together outside their house. David held Joy's hand. Mama Grace carried Samuel gently, humming softly. For the first time, peace filled the home completely. Joy's story became a testimony for the entire village. From mockery to miracle, from sorrow to joy. She had endured the storm, and in the end, her faith, her love, and her patience brought her victory.